Scene: courtyard of the royal palace at Thebes. Daybreak. Enter Antigone and Ismene. Dear sister, dear Ismene, how many evils our father Oedipus bequeathed to us! And is there one of them, do you know of one, that Zeus has not showered down upon our heads? I have seen pain, dishonor, shame, and ruin. I have seen them all in what we have endured. And now comes this new edict by the king, proclaimed throughout the city. Have you heard? Do you not know even yet our friends are threatened? They are to meet the fate of enemies. Our friends, Antigone? No, I have heard nothing about them, either good or bad. I have no news except that we two sisters lost our two brothers when they killed each other. I know the Argive army fled last night, but what that means, or whether it makes my life harder or easier, I cannot tell. This I was sure of, so I brought you here beyond the palace gates to talk alone. What is the matter? I know you are deeply troubled. Yes, for our brother's fate. Creon has given an honored burial to one, to the other only unburied shame. Eteocles is laid in the earth with all the rites observed that give him his due honor with the dead. But the decree concerning Polynices, published through Thebes, is that his wretched body shall lie unmourned, unwept, unsepulchred. Sweet will he seem to the vultures when they find him. A welcome feast that they are eager for. This is the edict that good Creon uttered for your observance and for mine. Yes, mine. He is coming here himself to make it plain to those who have not heard. Nor does he think it of little consequence, because whoever does not obey is doomed to death by stoning. Now you can show you are worthy of your birth, or bring disgrace upon a noble house. What can I do, Antigone? As things are, what can I do that would be of any help? You can decide if you will share my task. What do you mean? What are you planning to do? I intend to give him burial. Will you help? To give him burial? Against the law? He is our brother. I will do my duty. Yours too, perhaps. I never will be false. Creon forbids it! You are too rash, too headstrong. He has no right to keep me from my own. Antigone! Think how our father perished in scorn and hatred when his sins, that he himself discovered, drove him to strike blind his eyes by his own hand. Think how his mother, his wife, both names were hers, ended her life shamefully hanging in a twisted noose. Think of that dreadful day when our two brothers, our wretched brothers, fought and fell together, each slayer and each slain. And now we two, left all alone, think how in turn we perish, if, in defiance of the law, we brave the power of the commandment of a king. Oh, think, Antigone! We who are women should not contend with men. We who are weak are ruled by the stronger, so that we must obey in this and in matters that are yet more bitter. And so I pray the dead to pardon me if I obey our rulers, since I must. To be too bold in what we do is madness. I will not urge you, and I would not thank you for any help that you might care to give me. Do what you please, but I will bury him. And if I die for that, I shall be happy. Loved, I shall rest beside the one I loved. My crime is innocence, for I owe the dead longer allegiance than I owe the living. With the dead I lie forever. Live, if you choose, dishonoring the laws the gods have hallowed. No, I dishonor nothing, but to challenge authority. I have not strength enough. Then make that your excuse. I will go heap the earth above the brother that I love. Oh, sister, sister, how I fear for you. No, Not for me. Set your own life in order. Well then, at least, tell no one of your plan. Keep it close hidden, as I too will keep it. Oh, publish it. Proclaim it to the world. Then I will hate you less for your silence. Your heart is hot for deeds that chill the blood. I know that I give pleasure where I should. Yes, if you can, but you will try in vain. When my strength fails, then I shall try no longer. A hopeless task should never be attempted. Your words have won their just reward, my hatred, and the long-lasting hatred of the dead. But leave me in the folly that is mine to undergo the worst that can befall me. I shall not suffer an ignoble death. Go then, Antigone, if you must go, and yet remember, though your act is foolish, that those who love you do so with all their hearts. Exeunt Antigone and Ismene. Enter Chorus. Sunbeam, eye of the golden day, on Thebes the seven-gated, on Dirce's streams you have dawned at last, O fairest of light. Dawned on our foes, who had come inflamed by the quarrel of Polynices, shone on their glittering arms, made swifter their headlong fight. From Argos they came with their white shields flashing, their helmets crested with horsehair agleam, an army that flew like a snow-white eagle across our borders with shrilling scream. Above our roofs it soared, at our gates with greedy jaws it was gaping, but before their spears tasted our blood, and before our circle of towers felt the flame of their torches, they turned to flight. The foes of the Theban dragon found the surge and clamor of battle too fierce for their feebler powers. For Zeus, who abhors a proud tongue's boasting, seeing their river of armor flow clashing and golden, struck with his lightning to silence the shout of our foremost foe. He crashed to the earth with his torch, who had scaled the top of our ramparts, raging in frenzy against us, breathing tempestuous hate, raging and threatening in vain, and mighty Ares, our ally, dealing havoc around him, apportioned to other foemen their fate. For at 7 portals, their 7 leaders, down to the earth their bronze arms threw, in tribute to Zeus, the lord of the battle. Save the fated brothers, the wretched two, who went to their common doom together, each wielding a spear that the other slew. Now glorious victory smiles upon jubilant Thebes, rich in chariots. Let us give free rein to our joy, forgetting our late-felt war. Let us visit in night-long chorus the temples of all the immortals, with Bacchus, who shakes the land and the dances going before. But behold, the son of Moniacus approaches, Creon, the new-crowned king of the land, made king by new fortunes the gods have allotted. What step has he pondered? What has he planned to lay before us, his council of elders, who have gathered together at his command? Enter Creon. Elders of Thebes, our city has been tossed by a tempestuous ocean, but the gods have steadied it once more and made it safe. You, out of all the citizens, I have summoned, because I knew that you once reverenced the sovereignty of Laius, and that later, when Oedipus was king and when he perished, your steadfast loyalty upheld his children. And now his sons have fallen, each one stained by his brother's blood, killed by his brother's hand, so that the sovereignty devolves on me, since I by birth am nearest to the dead. Certainly no man can be fully known in his soul, his will, his intellect, until he is tested and has proved himself in statesmanship. Because a city's ruler, instead of following the wisest counsel, may through some fear keep silent. Such a man I think contemptible, and one whose friend has stronger claims upon him than his country, him I consider worthless. As for me, I swear by Zeus, forever all beholding, that I would not keep silence, if I saw ruin instead of safety drawing near us. Nor would I think an enemy of the state could be my friend, for I remember this. Our country bears us all securely onward, and only while it sails a steady course is friendship possible. Such are the laws by which I guard the greatness of the city. And kindred to them is the proclamation that I have made to all the citizens concerning the 2 sons of Oedipus. Eteocles, who has fallen in our defense, bravest of warriors, shall be entombed with every honor, every offering given that may accompany the noble dead down to their rest. But as for Polynices, he came from exile, eager to consume the city of his fathers with his fire and all the temples of his fathers' gods, eager to drink deep of his kindred's blood, eager to drag us off to slavery. To this man, therefore, nothing shall be given. None shall lament him, none shall do him honor. He shall be left without a grave, his corpse devoured by birds and dogs, a loathsome sight. Such is my will. For never shall the wicked be given more approval than the just, if I have power to stop it. But whoever feels in his heart affection for his city shall be rewarded both in life and death. Creon, son of Meniochius, it has pleased you so to pass judgment on our friend and foe, and you may give commands to all of us, the living and the dead. Your will is law. Then see that this command is carried out. Sir, lay that burden on some younger man. Sentries have been assigned to guard the body. Then what additional duty would you give us? Never to countenance the disobedient. Who is so stupid as to long for death? Death is indeed the punishment, yet men have often been destroyed by hope of gain. Enter guard.
My lord, I cannot say that I have hurried, or that my running has made me lose my breath. I often stop to think and turn to go back. I stood there talking to myself. You fool, I said. Why do you go to certain death? And then, you idiot, are you still delaying? If someone else tells Creon, you will suffer. I changed my mind this way, getting here slowly, making a short road long. But still, at last, I did decide to come. And though my story is nothing much to tell, yet I will tell it. One thing I know, I must endure my fate. But nothing more than that can happen to me. What is the matter? What is troubling you? Please, let me tell you first about myself. I did not do it. I did not see who did it. It is not right for me to be punished for it. You take good care not to expose yourself. Your news must certainly be something strange. Yes, it is strange. Dreadful. I cannot speak. Oh, tell it, will you? Tell it and go away. Well, it is this. Someone has buried the body. Just now, and gone. Has sprinkled it with dust and given it other honors it should have.
What are you saying? Who has dared to do it?
I cannot tell. Nothing was to be seen. No mark of pickaxe, no spot where a spade had turned the earth. The ground was hard and dry, unbroken, not a trace of any wheels, no sign to show who did it. When the sentry on the first watch discovered it and told us, we were struck dumb with fright, for he was hidden not by a tomb, but a light coat of dust, as if a pious hand had scattered it. There were no tracks of any animal, a dog or wild beast that had come to tear him. We all began to quarrel, and since no one was there to stop us, nearly came to blows. Everyone was accused, and everyone denied his guilt. We could discover nothing. We were quite willing to handle red-hot iron, to walk through fire, to swear by all the gods that we were innocent of the deed itself, and innocent of taking any part in planning or doing it. At last, one of us spoke. We trembled and hung our heads, for he was right. We could not argue with him, yet his advice was bound to cause us trouble. He told us all this had to be reported, not kept a secret. We all agreed to that. We drew lots for it, and I had no luck. I won the prize and was condemned to come. So here I stand, unwilling, because I know the bringer of bad news is never welcome.
Sir, as he spoke, I have been wondering, can this be possibly the work of gods?
Be silent, before you madden me. You are old. Would you be senseless also? What you say is unendurable. You say the gods cared for this corpse.
Then was it for reward, mighty to match his mighty services, that the gods covered him? He who came to burn their pillared temples and their votive offerings, ravage their land and trample down the state? Or is it your opinion that the gods honor the wicked? Inconceivable. However, from the first, some citizens who found it difficult to endure this edict muttered against me, shaking their heads in secret. Instead of bowing down beneath the yoke, obedient and contented with my rule. These are the men who are responsible, for I am certain they have bribed the guards to bury him. Nothing is worse than money. Money lays waste to cities, banishes men from their homes, indoctrinates the heart, perverting honesty to works of shame, showing men how to practice villainy, subduing them to every godless deed. But all those men who got their pay for this need have no doubt their turn to pay will come. Now you, guard, as I still honor Zeus the king, I tell you, and I swear it solemnly, either you find the man who did this thing, the very man, and bring him here to me, or you will not just die. Before you die, you will be tortured until you have explained this outrage, so that later when you steal, you will know better where to look for money and not to expect to find it anywhere. Ill-gotten wealth brings ruin and not safety.
Sir, may I speak? Or shall I merely go?
You can say nothing that is not offensive.
Do I offend your hearing or your heart?
Is it your business to define the spot?
The criminal hurts your heart, and I your ears.
Still talking? Why, you must have been born talking.
Perhaps, but I am not the guilty man.
You are. And what is more, you sold yourself.
You have judged me, sir, and have misjudged me, too.
Be clever about judging if you care to. But you will say that treachery leads to sorrow unless you find the man and show him to me. Exit Creon.
Finding him is the best thing that could happen. Fate will decide. But however that may be, you never are going to see me here again. I have escaped. I could not have hoped for that. I owe the gods my thanks for guarding me.
Exit guard. Many the marvelous things, but none that can be more of a marvel than man. This being that braves with the south wind of winter the whitened streaks of the sea, threading his way through the troughs of engulfing waves, and the earth most ancient, the eldest of all the gods, earth, undecaying, unwearied, he wears away with his toil. Forward and back with his plowshare, year after year he plods, with his horses turning the soil. Man in devising excels. The birds of the air, that light-minded race, he entangles fast in his toils. Wild creatures he catches, casting about them his snare. And the salt sea brood he nets in his woven coils. The tireless bull he has tamed, and the beast whose lair is hidden deep in the wilds, who roams in the wooded hills. He has fitted a yoke that the neck of the shaggy-maned horse will bear. He is master of all through his skills. He has taught himself speech, and wind-like thought, and the lore of ruling a town. He has fled the arrows of rain, the searching arrows of frost he need fear no more, that under a starry sky are endured with pain. Provision for all he has made, unprovided for naught, save death itself, that in days to come will take shape. From obscure and deep-seated disease he has subtly wrought a way of escape. Resourceful and skilled, with an inconceivable art, he follows his course to a good or an evil end. When he holds the canons of justice high in his heart, and has sworn to the gods the laws of the land to defend, proud stands his city. Without a city is he who with ugliness, rashness, or evil dishonors the day. Let me shun his thoughts. Let him share no hearthstone with me, who acts in this way.